Thomas Michael Shelby OBE MP is a fictional character and the protagonist of the British period crime drama Peaky Blinders. He is played by Irish actor Cillian Murphy, who has won 2 Irish Film and Television Awards and 2 National Television Awards for his portrayal of Shelby. The character has received critical acclaim. Thomas Michael Shelby was born in Birmingham, England, around 1890 to an Irish traveller and Romani family. He grew up in the small Heath neighbourhood of Birmingham. Thomas was the second of 5 children of Arthur Shelby Sr. and Mrs. Shelby. He dated Greta Girassi, a woman of Italian descent during his 20s, but she died of tuberculosis. His experiences as a sergeant major during the First World War have resulted in him suffering from PTSD, and it is implied he returned from it as a changed man. In 1919, Tommy leads the Peaky Blinders to steal a consignment of guns from the Birmingham small arms factory. Inspector Campbell is tasked by Winston Churchill to find the guns, and his new barmaid Grace Burgess works undercover for him. Tommy saves Grace from harm and hires her as his brother Arthur Shelby's secretary at the garrison. They become romantically involved, but Grace resigns service to the Crown. Tommy and the Lees take on Kimber's men, leading to a confrontation. Tommy meets Grace and learns she is the reason Inspector Campbell found the guns. The series ends with a gunshot. Inspector Campbell survives a shootout with Grace. Tommy, Arthur, and their brother John Shelby fight at Darby Sabini's club, leading to a retaliation attempt. Inspector Campbell intervenes and agrees with Churchill that Tommy will be useful. Tommy returns to London and meets gang leader Alfie Solomons, who forms an alliance against Sabini. Alfie deceives Arthur and sends him to prison. Tommy's empire crumbles, and he becomes romantically involved with horse trainer May Carlton. Alfie gets Arthur out of prison. Tommy collects the Peaky Blinders and gives them a mission at the races. Grace informs him she's pregnant, and Tommy tells her to talk. Inspector Campbell's Ulster volunteers kidnap Tommy, and Churchill promises future contact. In 1924, Tommy and Grace get married, and a refugee named Anton Calden contacts the Peaky Blinders for money exchange. Tommy kills the imposter and inspects armored vehicles for a business deal with Father John Hughes. Tommy finds a cursed sapphire under his son Charles's pillow and tries to convince Grace to remove it. Tommy travels to Wales with the necklace, where he consults a Romani woman. Tommy announces a plan to assassinate Father Hughes, who betrays them to the Soviets. Tommy enlists Alfie to appraise the Russians' jewels, and Charles is kidnapped. Father Hughes demands the jewels and Tommy's return in exchange for the safe return of Charles. Tommy agrees unconditionally, but Alfie's associate Michael Gray kills him. Tommy retrieves Charles and kills Father Hughes, while Arthur and John carry out the train bombing. The train is blown up, and Tommy distributes the loot to his accomplices. The rest of the Peaky Blinders and the family are taken away in handcuffs. In this story, the Shelby family prepares to be hanged for their crimes, but Tommy's reprieve saves their lives. A year later, the family is estranged and receives a letter from Vicente's son Luca Shangretta, a leader in New York's Italian-American mafia, marking them for death in retribution for the murder of Vicente and Shangretta's brother Angel. Tommy and Ada try to convince the others to meet on Boxing Day, but they are caught in a mafia attack. Tommy and the rest of the family agree to put their differences aside and deal with the mafia threat. The Peaky Blinders are lured by the Shangrettas into a chase, and Tommy finds himself engaged in a shootout with Shangretta's men. Alfie arranges a boxing match between Abrama Gold's son Bonnie Gold and Alfie's protege, and Arthur is seriously wounded and appears to have died. Tommy finds Arthur in time to save his life, and the vendetta ends when Tommy signs over all his assets to Shangretta. Tommy confronts Alfie for his betrayal, who reveals he did so knowing Tommy would track him down and kill him. Tommy shoots Alfie and takes a holiday from the business. In 1929, Tommy and Arthur receive a letter from Angels of Retribution, stating they are not afraid of the Peaky Blinders. Tommy's brother Finn Shelby is shot in the arm during an assassination mission, and Tommy and Ada warn him not to get involved with guns. Tommy and Ada meet with Mosley, who announces their involvement in the new British fascism movement. Tommy plans to have Barney Thomason join the Peaky Blinders and assassinate Mosley. Tommy visits Alfie to organize a riot to cover up the assassination of Mosley, but the plan is foiled. Tommy leaves for home with Arthur, and a hallucination of Grace tells him, "The work's all done." Tommy screams and points a gun at his own head, indicating that the work is done. Tommy, a Labour MP, is a key figure in the conspiracy plot of the 1930s. After a suicide attempt, he receives a call from Captain Swing, who takes credit for foiling Mosley's assassination. Tommy returns to Britain, where he learns that Ruby is recovering from a sudden illness. Tommy decides to ally himself with Captain Swing and announces his uncle's death at the Cotton Club. Tommy meets with Mosley and his fiancée, Lady Diana Mitford, and agrees to feed information about England's political future to his gang in exchange for opium. Tommy discovers that Ruby's curse was cursed by Evadne Barwell, who had a daughter who died at the age of 7. Tommy murders the Barwell family, who cursed Ruby, and his relationship with Lizzie strains further. Tommy meets with Dr. Halford, who tells him he has developed inoperable tuberculoma due to contact with Ruby. Tommy kills Michael on Miquelon Island, and Alfie and Tommy coordinate a takeover of his business in Boston. Tommy prepares to shoot himself, but after seeing a vision of Ruby and Dr. Halford, he realizes he has changed and spars his life. Tommy Murphy, a character in Blinders, has garnered critical acclaim for his portrayal of the character. He won the Irish Film and Television Academy for Best Actor in a Lead Role in Drama in 2017 and 2018, and the National Television Award for Best Drama Performance in 2020.